Welcome to the EntrePastors podcast on YouTube. This is a show that helps pastors think, act, and thrive as prosperous entrepreneurs. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the EntrePastors podcast on YouTube. My name is John, one of the co-founders of EntrePastors, as well as the co-host of the podcast. And in this show, you're going to hear me and my other co-founder, Les Hughes, introduce a brand new resource for our EntrePastors community. We call this our Business Builders Group. We are super excited about this group that's getting ready to launch, and we are confident that it is going to make a tremendous difference in the lives of those that get to participate in it. And you're going to hear us talk all about what it is, why we're doing it, and how you can be a part of it. If you are a pastor who is thinking about launching a business, or you've just started with launching your business out in the marketplace, you're going to want to key in on this episode because this one's for you. So welcome to the show. Let's go ahead and get started. Here we go. Truly looking forward to the conversation today, Les, as we talk about another thing. In recent episodes, you and I have been sharing some new things that are coming to our EntrePastors community as you and I are kind of, again, just pivoting, reworking some things as we continue to learn the needs of our audience and what serves them well. And so we're really excited to introduce what we're calling our EntrePastors Business Builders. And before we get into what it is, I think we should just, because you and I from the beginning, Les, with EntrePastors, we've been pretty transparent as we are building this online platform. Sometimes we peel back the curtain and say, if y'all want to take a look around backstage and see, how we're doing this, we'll kind of walk through some things and just lead with some transparency as a way of encouraging. Because sometimes you think, when you look at other people that already have an established thing, you think, well, they've got it all figured out. Well, we're here to tell you we don't have it all figured out, and we'll kind of show you and grow with you as we're growing. And this is part of that process. So before we get into what our Business Builders community is going to be all about, I think we should maybe unpack a little bit of the why behind it. And so I'll set it up, and then you can kind of fill in the details. How's that, Les?
That sounds good.
All right. So here's the setup. We recently made a decision to take our mastermind group that we've been running since the very beginning of EntrePastors and create two groups out of it. And I'll let you kind of explain the why behind that, because that's where Business Builders is going to be one of those groups. But we saw a need to take our current mastermind and put them into two different categories as a way to better serve our people. So why did we do that, Les?
Well, we kept seeing this gap, and the intention is that we want to be very customized. We know that it's not a one size fits all. Everybody's sort of at a different place in their journey. And when we put everybody together, the positive side of that is we just learn from one another, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but there was a gap there, and we've been, by the way, personally, we've been on both ends of this, because I can remember being the newbie, in the mastermind group, and there were people there that were being very successful, and I felt I shouldn't have felt intimidated. They weren't trying to intimidate me, but I just was. And as a result of that, what we see is people kind of shut down and be quiet because they don't feel like if they're just starting out, they're kind of building it. They may not feel like they've got as much to add to the conversation, even though they do. And so they have a tendency just to be quiet. And if they do that, then they're not getting as much out of the group as they could be, because they're not getting their questions answered and their next steps, kind of challenges there. So the guys that were just starting out, and as that's why we're calling it Business Builders, there's just a unique set of needs that they have in those early days. Now, the truth is that the people that are being very successful right now, whether we've seen a lot of different, we've seen it done a lot of different ways: real estate, franchising, the restaurant businesses, coaching businesses, publishing. So, but whatever that is, the truth is they may not be all that far ahead. They just look like they're really far ahead because they've made some good choices and they've worked hard and they just put in the reps, put in the time. But what we want to do is we realize that there are unique needs in each of those kinds of individuals. And so we separated them. And there's one last thing as a part of that, John, is that we also realized that people would get in early and make a significant financial investment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's worth that significant financial investment because it's a high value. But when they get in there and making that significant investment and they're building that business, so they're not generating enough income in their own minds to justify that significant investment. It's like, okay, I need to be making this up in 30 days or 60
Right.
days. And then that may not be very realistic. So what we wanted to do was lower that entry level of investment so that it's just more manageable for the person, and they don't have a sense of urgency, of needing to make that up in a very, very short amount of time.
Yeah, I'll say we want them to have urgency. I don't want them to have panic. I don't want them to feel like if I don't get this done, if I don't start making, all my money back that I'm putting into my mastermind, let alone, the actual business I'm trying to run, then, and I agree with that, Les. I think that that high price point for some, it's right where it needs to be. And then for someone that's just getting going, we might be adding pressure to them without, that's certainly not our goal, but like we want to
be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem, for sure.
Right. Yeah. And so one thing you did really well unpacking that, Les. So I just will add to this, going back to a couple episodes back, we introduced Shane Odom and made it very clear, like, he's going to be a part of that mastermind as we kind of keep that mastermind at that higher level. It's not about value of the people that are in it. It's just the where they are in the journey at this point. So when I say the higher level, it's just people that have climbed a little bit higher. They've been doing it a little bit longer. As you said, Les, they've been putting in more reps. And so they're further down the path. That mastermind is really going to be reserved for people at that level. And they're going to have direct access to Shane, as we said a few episodes back, and all of the business expertise that he brings. And in addition to, from time to time dealing with ministry stuff, what we're really focusing in that is the business side of things that comes from the lens of we also get church work. So it's a place where pastors can honestly come in and just celebrate the success they're having in business and talk about that and throw the numbers out there without feeling like they have to apologize for it or explain it. But coming back to this business builders group, we are really excited about this because we see this meeting a need for people, not only being a little bit lower price point, but truly focused on that person that's just getting started and taking some of that pressure away of like, man, we got to get this thing up and off the ground fast. It's like, we can walk with you. We're still going to have accountability. We're still going to have, the urgency that we're putting there. Like, let's go, let's get this thing moving. So I don't want people to hear like we're lowering the standards, but we are going to do it at a little bit easier pace that will be the right fit for some in our community. And so I think that this is really doing a good job of addressing that gap that you and I have come to realize, okay, that's there. Let's address it. Let's do something about it. So that's one reason why we see the need for this business builders. And then the other thing, Les, if I were to give an answer to why to somebody, it's this. And this is kind of a broad thing. You could apply this to a lot of areas, but especially someone who's getting going. And I might even ask you to share your startup story, and maybe I'll share a little bit of mine, but it's essentially the value of community is what I want to say. You can do something by yourself, that's fine. But when you do it with other people, when you are walking in community, I'm a believer, I've experienced it, that you go farther, faster when you are part of a group instead of just doing it all on your own, trying to figure it out all on your own. And I can think back in my life, last to those times where I was trying to build all this stuff on my own, completely by myself, not investing into any like real coaching other than just, the books I'm reading and the podcasts I'm listening to, but not putting myself in the room with other like-minded people. And when I began to do that, that's when I started taking sizable steps forward in progress. And it's short, it was a shortcut. It's really what it was, versus me trying to just figure every problem out every step of the way when I was by myself. So how about you? What's kind of, how does that land with you and your story of you getting started and launching some of this stuff?
Very, very similar, probably for different reasons. You know, we've been around one another enough. You're extroverted. You never don't meet a stranger at all, and are energized by being around people and having conversations. I'm wired a lot differently, and so I love people. I mean, my goodness, I'm a pastor. That's been our life, right? I love people. I love being with people, and they're just so interesting to me and make life rich. But that's not what energizes me. What energizes me is unplugging, pulling away. I don't have to have a lot of talk. I don't have to have a room full of people. Give me a outside watching my horses walk in the pasture, or, you know, have a cup of coffee and sit there and pray and think. I'm fine with that. So in a group setting, I'm good with listening and learning, and I don't have to talk, you know, at all. But I tried to figure all this out on my own. I watched videos, I bought a few courses, I worked through all of that, and I learned some things. But really, some of that was just avoiding other people in the room, you know, avoid kind of putting yourself out there, and probably saying some things that thought sounded dumb at the beginning, but they really weren't. So what happened was I was just spinning my wheels, John, and I did that for a while, and just wasn't seeing the progress that I really wanted to see quickly enough. And I kept hearing people talk about getting in the room with other people who have been successful. And then I heard about the concept of masterminds and all of that. So really, I just decided I'd take the plunge, because I wasn't getting there on my own. And as we're sitting here now, John, I don't know how many times that decision has paid dividends in my own life. And that's why we believe so much in the process, because we have seen results. And knowing myself the way that I do, I doubt seriously if I would have continued down the journey. I think I probably would have just said, you know what, this is not going to work for me. But I wasn't trying everything, all the tools that I had at my disposal. So once I did and surrounded myself with other people who were being successful, it changed radically and
Yep.
very, very quickly.
Yep. Same here, man. And that's why you and I know the value of this, and we're packaging this in such a way that we believe it's right where it needs to be for someone that's just getting started. So why don't we answer this question then? Like, who is this a good fit for? Like the Business Builders Group, who would be the kind of the right profile of that person? And then, what are the results that we're hoping to help them achieve through this Business Builders Group? And then we can get into some of the specifics of what is it exactly, and answer some of those questions. But who is this for, Les? Who would be an ideal candidate for this Business Builders Group?
Well, most of what we do is geared toward pastors or people that have some sort of ministry background. Not exclusively. There are other people that we reach and our message resonates with, but so that's the one kind of the umbrella group. And this is for the person who's starting out. You may in business, you want to build a business primarily for the purpose of creating another stream of income or multiple streams of income in your life for you and for your family. There could be many reasons for that. We talk about those reasons in the individual conversations that we have and the content that we put out. But as far as this Business Builders Group is concerned, that's what it's for. It's for somebody that comes in who maybe they have a good idea, maybe they have 3 or 4, but they just need help knowing how to put together a blueprint for that life that they really would like, a framework for a business like that, a business plan, putting it to getting it going, getting it off the ground, and then developing some consistent revenue from that. Depends on what their goals are, John. Those goals might be, man, if I could just have another $500 a month, we would be golden in it would mean all the difference in the world. Or it could be somebody that says, no, what I'd like is about 3 different streams of income, and then just put a number on that, whatever that is. So that's the beauty of working closely with people, coming alongside of them, instead of doing it in a generic way through a podcast or a course or something like that, really tailor making it, customizing it for people depending on what their own goals are. Does that make
No,
sense?
absolutely, and doing it in a relational way. Les, as I heard you unpacking that, one thing I wanted that came to mind that I just want to highlight, because again, it gives some clarity about who we are as entree pastors. This is a business show. We are about business. We are about helping people launch some kind of entrepreneurial thing out into the marketplace. But here's what makes us unique. The minute you started talking about it's for pastors or people with a ministry mindset, a ministry background. And yes, we do have some outliers who just people who like our voice and resonate with us. And so they're like, I want to hang with you guys and learn from you guys. But here's the thing, there's all kinds of business, coaches and gurus you can go to who in some ways probably know far more about business even than Les and I do. But here's the distinction is that Les and I absolutely understand and have a very real pulse on life in the ministry, life as a pastor, life as being on church staff. And so we can have all of these business focused conversations through that filter. So much of that is there. It's just kind of running in the background without us necessarily, leading with that. And yet at any moment, Les, you and I in a coaching conversation can switch gears with someone and talk about, well, how does this actually affect your ministry life in church? What are some things we might need to do on that side of things in order to affect things on the business side? I think that's really one of our distinguishing characteristics. So, and I don't know why I'm saying that and highlighting that other than the fact that the minute you said that it's for pastors, I'm like, yeah, we need to stress that sometimes. That, yeah, we help business, but it's
You gotta take it for
EntrePastors,
granted.
y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We take it for granted and we don't maybe highlight that. So anyway, you've got people walking beside you, as in the coaches walking beside you who get ministry life and also have very much an entrepreneurial mindset and will celebrate and help you launch a business and create that revenue. So yeah, that's the result. We want to help you get to that place of having that new stream of income or multiple streams of income established. And we want to help you get there faster than you will on your own. So that's the why and the result we're going for. Let's talk about the what. How do we do this exactly, Les? I'll let you kind of share some of the things that are included in this Business Builders group. But if you'll let me, I'm just going to give a quick recap to where this begins. Because before this whole episode's done, I'm going to kind of pull up to the 30,000 foot view and kind of show everybody now we've got all these 3 new things that are out there. So a couple episodes back on episode 93, we introduced our Pastors Business Alliance. And I'm not going to take a lot of time in this episode to unpack that again. I would encourage you, if you haven't heard that episode, go check that out, because the Business Builders, the group that we're talking about now, includes everything that's in that Pastors Business Alliance. So that is like our lowest, most affordable membership community, $9 a month, that gives you access to content, to a monthly group coaching call with John and Les. There's a private Facebook group inside of that. And we've got, access to all of the past Q&A calls that are there. And there's massive discounts, like significant discounts to all of the other content that is available inside of that Pastors Business Alliance. So I just wanted to throw that out there to say, if when we tell you about Business Builders, if you go, I'm not in any place to even be able to afford that, cool. Jump into Pastors Business Alliance at $9 a month and let's start there. But Business Builders builds on that, because you get all of that. You're already going to be included in our Pastors Business Alliance. Then what, Les? What is it that separates this Business Builders group? What else? How else can you describe that for us?
Before I do that, let me mention one thing related to what you just said about the content that's in that membership.
Okay.
We have so many people on our podcasts or people that we introduced to our audience who have great offers um, that are more niched. It'd be
Mhm.
about how to build an online platform, or something about publishing, or a service-based business, or just people that are, and they're very motivating because these are real live people, just like many people that are listening, that are getting it done. But if you were to try to go out and be a part of what each of them are doing, or even one of them are doing, it can be a little bit pricey. And again, we're back to, how much can I really invest? Well, the good thing about being in that membership is, even if you were to take advantage of just one of those things that you'll see in those,
Yep.
in that membership, you'll pay for the membership for the entire year,
Yep.
because there are some of those things that I just mentioned that are in the membership that are no extra. They're free for the members, or included in the membership, and there are others at significant discounts, half off
Yep.
or more. So it'll pay for itself. I just want to add that, because it is something that's an approach that's fairly new, but it's kind of a no-brainer offer, really.
Yeah. I
The thing
mean,
that
if you're serious at all about this at all, there's no reason not to
At
be in a
all.
membership.
That's
If you're
right.
not in it, you're not serious. I'm just going to say that. So,
I think you're right.
yeah.
So and then what really makes it special is those 2 monthly calls that are with a handful of people just like yourself, along with John and myself, and we may have another mentor or two from the community in there from time to time. But that's really what's going to set this apart. It's that structured content. So there'll be, it's not just where we jump on a call and say, "Hey, how's everybody doing?" There's some structured content around there where we're moving from point A to point B, but we also want it to be personalized. So we'll help you develop your own blueprint, a business strategy to meet whatever goals that you have. If that means you want to begin and start a business where, I'm gonna not say the example I was thinking to, because that's somebody that we just talked to, and that probably wouldn't be cool. There's lots of examples that we could use. So if that's you, and you just want to build that one business, and you want to have a small team to do that, that's great. If you say, you know what, I'm thinking about 3 streams of income. I want this one, and this one. Then we can sit down with you and come up with a personalized strategy and a blueprint or a framework for you, and help you meet your goals, whatever they
One
are.
one thing I want to add to that, Les, is that you mentioned like structured content. Uh, Literally, we probably will be providing a checklist to our people. Like these are the steps. Now, again, some of that checklist is going to need to be personalized for you specifically with whatever business you're building. But I mean, we're going to be walking beside you, helping you get tangible, measurable progress forward in your business launch. So
That's right. And then,
do that.
it's somebody could say, well, man, that's just 2 days out of the month. What about the rest of the time? Well, first of all, we've done it various ways. One call per week ends up being a lot for
Yeah, it
most
can get
people. That
pretty
that
much
week comes around. If, like, if you've ever preached on Sundays, that Sunday, those come around real fast. So
relentlessly.
it's like having a final exam every week. So um same way with this. So we think 2 is the sweet spot for most people. We also record those because we know that not everybody can make every single one of them. But there's also access to one another during the week. So we use Voxer, which is like it's almost like a walkie-talkie app for a phone, or a voice texting, if you will. It's an app that is on your phone. So it's real time. So you can go back and forth with that during the intervals where we're not meeting, just so you have access.
Well, let me just pause you there, Les, to the Voxer app. For people who aren't using it or have never like been a part of it, we have found it to be a really great tool. We use it for our team with EntrePastors. We have several different channels there, and with all of our coaching clients, they have access to us through Voxer, and so it's a way to keep the conversation going between meetings. If you're working on something and have a question that pops up, you're like, man, we don't have another call for a week and a half. Jump in Voxer, throw it in there, and you're probably
Yeah.
going to get an answer within the hour, certainly within the
Mhm.
day. Someone's going to be
Mhm.
getting back to you, and so yeah, it's a great way to stay connected to not only your coaches but also the rest in the community as a part of that Voxer app. So just wanted to double down on that a little bit.
Good.
When does this group meet, Les?
Going to meet the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month. Those are the 2 days, and it's 10 a.m. Central Time. We do record those calls again. We really love it when people are on there in person live, but it's not always possible. So we do record them in that Business Builders group. You get access to our to a vault of all the past calls for what if there's a subject that you want to go back and listen to again, or somebody mentioned a strategy or something, one of those calls, you can go back and listen to them. But 10 a.m., second and fourth Wednesdays of the month.
Fantastic. And our very first call is coming up on June 28th. So we're kicking off this Business Builders group June 28th, 2023. If you're someone who really loves kind of the startup, getting in at the ground level and being a part of something from the beginning, then man, jump in. So we're releasing this episode in the middle of June. So probably have about 2 weeks before this all gets going. And again, if it's 12 months from now and you're listening and sometime in the future, we'd still love to have you in the group. So you haven't missed out. Like, we'll still meet you right where you are and get you brought in and up to speed. But yeah, if you love getting going at the ground level, then we highly encourage you to jump in and be a part of this. We really are excited. So as I said earlier, let me pull up 30,000 foot view level. We've got kind of 3 offers right now, Les. We've got our $9 Pastors Business Alliance, $9 a month. We've got our Business Builders group that we've introduced here today at $99 a month. I don't think we've mentioned that so far, what the price point of this is going to be, $99 a month. And then our mastermind, which right now is $500 a month, and at some point may go up significantly as that value continues to increase. But again, the mastermind is by invitation only, by application only. But this stuff is wide open right here. The Pastors Business Alliance, and then our Business Builders group. We feel like we've got something for everyone in these offers, and we've got the ability to serve you regardless of what stage of the journey you are on. So I'm excited, Les. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up today?
No, just if this sounds like something that you would be interested in, if you got more questions, if you want to go ahead and, as far as the Business Builders and the Pastors Business Alliance is concerned, you can start that as of today. So we'll put links in the show notes, or you can go to our website, EntrePastors.com, to find that information.
Well, hey, thanks for watching this episode of the EntrePastors podcast. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can be notified every time we release a new episode. If you'd like to get connected to other pastors who are learning to think, act, and thrive as prosperous entrepreneurs, then we invite you to check us out on Facebook. Just search for the EntrePastors Connect group, answer a few of our simple questions there, and we'd love to include you in the conversations. And if you're really ready to go to the next level, then we invite you to join our EntrePastors membership community. When you become a monthly subscriber, you will receive access to courses, exclusive community, and coaching that will help you along in your own EntrePastors journey. If there's anything else we can do to serve you, please visit us at EntrePastors.com, and we will do our best to serve you there. God bless everybody. See you soon.